championship round. Neither player has won before. It's going to be Billy Young Jr. against Dave D'Entremont.
Okay. Native of Tulsa. Shaking out that arm, getting it loose. A few little twitches here. Wonderful guy. 5'10", 160 pounds, 34 years old. His birthday was Wednesday. Deceptive speed for his action, but, Bo, you get a 2.810 to greet you.
Once again, we see all the players really having trouble with their first shots sliding by the head pin. Very slick lane surface, and the oil seems to have been a little bit farther down the lane than it has been all week long, as Billy Young has a tough shot. Just hit the 2 and 8 and hope.
So, Billy Young, bowling out of Oklahoma City now, made a great improvement this week. Last week at the U.S. Open, he's 183rd out of a field of 240. Now, Dave D'Entremont, with 2 victories, is in the final game. Could win his first title today and $30,000 and a trip to Akron. High hit, 4-6-7.
2 excellent young players have never really experienced the championship round match in quite a while, and it's affecting them in their first frames. As you see D'Entremont cutting through the middle, he's got an almost impossible spare. We'll shoot for the 4-7. Chris, he just fired the ball at it, and I'll tell you one thing I say about this. When you almost cannot make a split, I don't see throwing your timing off or having your timing thrown off by throwing a ball 23, 24 miles an hour. Obviously, he knows how to bowl. He's bowling for a major title, but I think that's kind of a faux pas in his game to take that chance. Now he's back in the second.
Settling down to a strike in the second frame against the tournament leader, Billy Young. Billy won his only title in Windsor, Ontario. He's top-seeded, defeating Bobby Jacks, 236 to 226. He, like Mike Edwards, is proud of his Native American heritage.
Sliding by again, but you can make this particular split. There's a chance, and I'll show you how to do it right here. What you must do is get the ball hooking a lot. He has to play a big hook, get it over in the 2-4 zone. The ball will actually drive the 4 into the 8 and also drive the 2 into the 10. A tough shot, but it can be made with the big hook.
So, tough debut for tournament leader Billy Young. Pair of open frames, result of splits that faced him, unable to convert them, and, oh, that's 16 through the second.
Well, he's dominated the field, Chris, and he struggled here. He said he had a backup bowling ball that he could go to, and he had trouble last night. He switched and shot better than 700 the last 3 games. Is he going to reach for that other bowling ball? He continues to use the ball that he had open frames in the first 2 frames with. He's going to make an adjustment. If he doesn't get around the pocket, I think he'll make the change. Here we go. Doesn't mind the 7-pin. Pretty good reaction. This young man started bowling at the age of 6. His first game was 21. His first 600 series came at age 14. And he credits his father, who has won an American Bowling Congress championship title, the only man from Oklahoma to do so, with really making him a top star he is today. His dad should be proud.
Because ABC All Events has to be fun to win, Bo.
No, it's a 9-game tournament, the All Events, and you covered that when we were in Toledo as we went down and took a look at the American Bowling Congress tournament, open for all the amateurs. The PBA players will drift into Toledo for the Masters tournament in May. Now, D'Entremont up, 3rd frame, has a 13-pin lead.
Now Now he leads by 23. Dave d'Entremont, who last year won $38,880, won telecast, 5th at the Bud Tournament Touring Players Championship.
And for you junior bowlers out there who like to be updated, Dave d'Entremont also started bowling at the age of 6. Told me he finished his first season with a 70 average. Improved a little bit since then.
Okay, we're in our championship game to determine the Tums Classic winner. We'll have more of the match following these messages. This is Billy Young, our tournament leader in the championship game. We're a little behind our schedule, so while we were away, Billy got his first strike in the 4th frame. Now here in the 5th, he has left a 10-pin.
And you see the whimsical look on Billy Young's face. He made the adjustment outside on the right-hand lane through a perfect strike. Then he moved farther out on the left-hand lane, which has given everybody some trouble, and he went high. So he is confused and in trouble.
Very carefully shot the 10-pin.
This is really a tough pair, Chris, to bowl a championship round on, especially the left lane, because it hooks more, but if you give it a lot of room and throw it hard, it skids. It's a matter of just stroking it and freewheeling, which doesn't happen in a championship round unless you're in the position of Dave d'Entremont, who's won a game and he's red hot.
All right, leaving only the 2-pin, but he's been the most consistent striker we have had this afternoon, though, in our championship finals.
Well, that's Dave d'Entremont's story. When he gets that big strike ball going, he seems to carry everything, and his pocket percentage has been 100% so far today. When he hits the pocket, he strikes.
The winner of this game will go into the 27th annual Bridgestone Firestone Tournament of Champions a week from today. Starts earlier, of course.
The final of 16 telecasts, as we see how Dave d'Entremont's playing the lanes. He's over in this position, he'll cross to this position, then he'll swing the ball wide out around the first arrow.
And now 10-pin on the left lane.
First tap for d'Entremont today. And Chris, following up on what you said, the 27th Firestone Tournament champion, this game is actually an $80,000 game to these players. They can win 50 grand next week, 30 this week, put up with the Tums people. Big match.
Mm-hmm. Halfway point of the title match. This is our 15th telecast and a winter tour of 16 stops all across the U.S. of A. Next week, Akron. And then a summer tour of 8 events. Very nice. Billy Young explains what influenced him to bowl in this week's Tums Classic.
Well, I bowled really bad last week, and I hated to end the winter on a note that bad. Also, the added money from the Tums sponsor this week, and this is the last week to qualify for the Firestone.
And this is a big shot for him. He has 2 alternatives: move in and throw the ball very slowly and trust it, or get out and just throw a rocket right at the pocket. He only has to bowl 2 more frames on this lane. He needs to catch up. He trails by 31.
All right. That's more like it. That's more like what he accomplished this week.
You're right, Chris. Just a superb shot right here on the clutch. Look at how he stayed down, went through the shot, trusted out to the very edge board. You could hear the thing just whistling down the lane. He's now back in the match.
A 6-10 left in the right lane by Dave d'Entremont in his 3rd game this afternoon. Has 2 victories.
In his 2 victories, he's averaged 239. His opponent's just 177. And this match is still not over. There's a lot of action to be had.
Got a 269 against Dave Ferraro's 193 in that semifinal game. All right, leaders by round.
42-game qualifier. Look at how Billy Young just dominated the field. He led the 18 games, then the 24 in the finals. For what it's worth, next week a major championship. It'll be 24 games of qualifying at the Firestone and 24 in the finals. Now the scoreboard tells the story. It's still a close match. 8th frame.
And now, a split that Bo will tell you how to convert.
We've seen a combination of the 210 all day long, and it's a spare that, or split, that can be made simply by getting the ball over here in the 2-pin zone, driving it into the 10. He needs to convert this to maintain a 17-pin lead. Anything less, it's less than a mark.
This match is for the Tums Classic Championship and $30,000 and a trip to Akron.
Billy Young, who had trailed by over 40 pins at one time in this game, can now take the lead with a strike here in the 8th frame.
Good reason to whistle by people in the stands. That's a 3-bagger for Billy Young.
Let's watch the arm swing. He needs to keep that swing inside out. It's in perfect position there. Keeps the ball inside until the last moment, then says, I don't want to give it too much room. He crosses over, gets the best break he's had all day long. He now leads the match going into the 9th. Must take advantage of that break.
And he does. 2 telecasts last year. He and his partner, old pal Bob Strampy, were 3rd at the Senior Touring Pro Doubles Championship in Buffalo, and he was also 5th at Dublin.
Now the medal of Dave D'Entremont being tested after having a commanding lead halfway through the championship match. He trails by 14. 9th frame, he can still win. The 2-8 spare, the combination we've seen numerous times today. Dave D'Entremont needs to make it and to get up in the 10th frame and roll a couple of strikes to put the pressure back on Billy Young. Get the ball right here at the 2-pin, let the 2 drive the 8 straight back. Ball or pin will do the job. Tough spare.
Watching with interest here is the owner of Bradley Bowl, Alice Jarvis. And her staff has certainly done a great job hosting the Tums Classic.
Tums is a very cordial sponsor. Excellent prize fund, and right now, to get the lion's share of the prize fund, Dave D'Entremont must throw a strike here in the 10th. He has a potential 202. Billy Young going at 206 pace. Final frame. Well, that's 1. He needs the second one in the 10th.
Intensity. Wow. What pressure shots.
Fabulous shot right there in a really, really important situation. Now, Dave D'Entremont can win the tournament. The onus will be all on Billy Young's back. All right, he finishes with 2:01. That forces Billy Young to get 16 fill in the 10th frame. He must mark in the 10th and get at least 16 pins to win his second championship and qualify for the Firestone Tournament of Champions thing. Anything less, he loses. It's not over. First place, a difficult spare in this situation. You can slide by the 610. You can chop the 6 off the 10. Then he must make this and get 8 pins. No easy task. Only in practice is this easy, not for a title.
The face. Does it show the strain and the pressure? Look at it. Trembling. Covered the 610. I mean, shaking, Bo.
You're right, Chris. Now, what do? Billy's looked at the scoreboard. Everybody's more conscious of the gutter ball since Del Ballard did it to hand the title to Weber earlier in the year. He needs 8 pins, 7's a tie, 6 is a loser. What do? Do you play it safe and jam it up towards the head pin? Maybe get a split? Or do you go with your best shot towards the pocket? Only Billy Young knows what he's going to do. Needs 8 or better.
First victory in 6 years. Dave d'Entremont, very gracious, because Dave wanted his first victory. The Bullets his second, and it's a trip to the Firestone Tournament of Champions, 203 to 201. Let's go back to New York City and our colleague Frank Gifford. This is how the money was distributed today. The winner, of course, $30,000.